What's up? What's up? We're live once again. How's everybody doing? Happy Wednesday. Let's check my mic levels. Let me know if you can hear me and see me and all is well. How's everybody doing? Having a good week so far? So good to be back here live streaming with you once again. Let me check in the comments. If you're new here or it's your first stream, welcome. Or if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'm excited to chill with you guys and talk about smart home stuff. Thank you for the feedback. Jeff, what's up, Jeff? Don in the house. Don Powers, what's up, Don? Lurk Jerk, thank you guys for the feedback. Frederick, glad you could be here. Frederick as well. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, so excited to just hang out, talk a little bit about smart home stuff. It's kind of that season right now where we're kind of in between, hopefully some big announcements and stuff like that. But what's up, Manuel from Houston, watching at work as usual. Nice. Well, thank you for hanging out and joining us here while at work. Larry, what's up, Larry? Happy Wednesday, doing well, good to hear. And quick shout out to George. Man, George, dude, I'm sorry to hear this. George commented during the countdown, was in a bad accident this morning, a bike accident, broke my collarbone and 3 ribs, but I'm still here. A few broken bones, can't stop this streak. Man, dude, first of all, thank you for joining the live stream as always. For those that don't know, George Langabeer, good friend, fellow YouTuber, also check out George's channel. Man, I hate to hear that. That's terrible, but I'm glad you're okay and it wasn't worse. Yeah, those bike accidents can be pretty brutal. I know had a family member in a really bad bike accident a few years back, and yeah, man, rest up, heal up, and thanks again for joining us today. Whew, yeah, get well soon. What's up, Hair Riot in the house? Glad you can make it here. Hit the like button, Frederick says. Yes, thank you, Frederick. I never say that like I should. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, all the YouTube things. Thanks, Frederick. So yeah, let me know in the chat today. I mentioned this on YouTube. I'm kind of just in the mood to like hang out and chill a little bit today. I mean, I know we kind of keep it casual anyways here, but there's a couple new products we'll talk about. I'll share some of the smart home projects that I've been working on with you guys. And, in the meantime, just drop some comments, some questions. We'd love to hear if you're working on any smart home projects or anything you're particularly excited about. I know I've been kind of reworking some automations and different things like that, so we can kind of get into that. But we'd love to hear what you're working on. And of course, if you have questions, now's a good time. I'll try to get to as many questions as I can today in the live stream. If you want to ask me about anything I'm doing with my smart home or any of the products that I'm using or anything in your smart home, ask away, and I'm going to do my best to flag all the questions. I will ask if you have a question, comment the word question at the beginning of your comment if you would. That just kind of helps it stick out to me a little bit better, and I will try to like I said, save all the questions and get to as many as I can during the stream. Dan, what's up, Dan? Central Texas. Touring in here, screaming home assistant. ASFX, just grilled some tri-tip and hanging out for lunch. Nice, man. That sounds like my kind of lunch. I do that here. Now, since I've been working from home now, like for a while now, I do that all the time. Like my lunch, I usually don't eat lunch till about 2 o'clock. I fast till about 2 o'clock or so most days. And lately it's been a lot of just throwing something on the grill, either chicken or steak. Sometimes actually been doing a lot more in the cast iron, but just grilling some meat, real quick for lunch. That's a good, healthy way to go, if you ask me, but I'm no expert. We're here for smart home stuff, not health advice, thankfully. Let's see. Wisp Cedia says currently super stoked to slowly but surely Retro running Ethernet cables to certain points in my home for PoE cameras. Nice. Had hardwired Wi-Fi cameras for the longest, but I've always wanted PoE. Man, that is awesome. You won't regret that. It's a huge pain, as I'm sure you know, running the Ethernet wires, but once you do it, if you're lucky, you do it once and you're good to go. And just to have PoE hardwired cameras all the time, man, is so great. And the cool thing about that is you can even change out your cameras in years to come if you want to without having to rerun the wires and everything, which I have actually been doing here lately myself. Been in the process of that. Oh man, I'm going to butcher this name. I'm not sure how to say it. So I apologize in advance if I butcher anybody's names. Greetings from Turkey. Your smart home student is here again, ready to take notes on the master. Well, I don't know if I am the master, but you know, I have been making a lot of mistakes in my smart home for years. So I guess we can learn from our mistakes. But yeah, we've been doing it a while. Thank you for watching, man. I hope you do learn something today. Okay, I see some questions. Let me save these. Oh, nice. Palma Kit says the plumber updated my installation. Was finally able to install the Akara valve controller. Very useful. Nice. Got the Akara valve controller. Yeah, those are nice to have in the case of emergency. You can create automations to shut off your water to the whole house or to certain places wherever you have it installed. Really cool. I did a video on that a while back. That's awesome. Mine has been, I don't have any water valve controller. I usually keep one on the main water line to my house. I have for the last few years, but I don't have one right now. I pretty much removed just about everything from my garage area because we're doing that whole garage project. If you've been following along on Instagram, you've probably seen some of that kind of behind the scenes there. So that project is almost done. Almost done. So they're finishing up the AC in there. I'm getting a mini split AC in the garage. So they're finishing that up today, hopefully. And then I hope tomorrow we'll be starting on the floors. So that's like the last thing to do in there. And then we can start having some fun, putting in some smart home tech, setting it all up, probably start recording some videos and stuff in there pretty soon. So excited about that. Okay, let me save these questions here. Some other projects that I have going on. Yes, thank you, Frederick. Yeah, so I am saving questions, as Frederick mentioned here. It doesn't actually highlight for me, unfortunately. It used to when you put the word question in there, but it does still help me to see the questions. So I'll save those as I see them. So yeah, please ask once. And if I don't get to it by the end of the stream, of course, you can ask again. But we got some questions here saved already. But yeah, another project that I undertook recently was replacing all of the smart blind or all of the shades in my living room and my little eat-in dining room area. So I've been using the SwitchBot blind tilt there for years. It's just a retrofit way to control your existing Venetian blinds, the SwitchBot one, which I love it. I mean, it's worked great for me for a long time. So I'm a big fan of that device. But here, I'll pull it up so you guys can see what I'm talking about, in case you're not familiar with it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this, and I still do use some of these in the house. They retrofit to your existing blinds. These were actually wife approved. If you have white shades, they kind of blend in, or white blinds, they kind of blend in. But we honestly got really tired. We have so many windows. We got really tired of having to dust the blinds, the Venetian blinds. So we decided to go with some roller shades. Went with some zebra shades. They all support matter over thread. New video just dropped. I think it was yesterday on YouTube. So there should be a link down below if you guys want to check that. But that was kind of a big project because I think it was 6 total shades, and 2 of them were quite large. to replace all those Venetian style blinds. And man, I gotta say, it has made a difference in keeping the house cooler. I can feel the difference, which surprised me a little bit because I had the blind tilts and I'd still close the blinds when it would get really hot on that side of the house. But I guess the Venetian style blinds just don't block out as much sun and heat as those roller shades. So I've been pretty happy with that so far. Did you change the fabric on the SwitchBot roller blinds? Have to get that next. Ulux looks like the next best budget option. I don't know much about Ulux, but the SwitchBot roller blinds, I did not change the fabric on those. So SwitchBot makes some retrofit. They're like, I think the only adjustable roller shades. And yeah, I think it's a good budget option. You're not going to get, this is the SwitchBot ones, you're not going to get the quality that you're going to get with something like Bringnox is the company I use that I recently installed. Similar to Smart Wings or Eve motion blinds. Those are all kind of in the same tier. SwitchBot's going to be a little bit more budget friendly, but the quality is not as good, but and there's less options. Like you just have white or gray, so you don't get the customization and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you're on a budget, I think these are a really good option. Again, I use a lot of SwitchBot devices in my house. What's up, Trent? Lone Star Trent. Jay says, any plans to sell your blind tilt devices? Asking for a friend. It's a good question. I don't really want to sell them. Sometimes I will sell, or I'll let my wife kind of is good at that stuff. I'll let her post some things for sale, marketplace and stuff like that. I don't really want to sell the blind tilts just because we've used them so much. I don't know. I just kind of don't really like to sell like very used stuff. I was actually thinking about just maybe giving them away in Discord or something like that. So we've got a channel membership on Discord where I'm in there every day and stuff like that, interacting with people. So I might just like give them away, but probably not going to sell them. Whoa, dang. You got an estimate for $15K for a garage mini split? Whew. I am not paying that much for mine. Man, where do you live, Turin? Remind me. I wonder if that is a factor. Definitely could be. But I am spending a lot of money on this garage project as a whole. It was a big project. We built a loft in there and just painted everything, new floors, new cabinets. It's sweet. It's really sweet. So I'm looking forward to getting that done and sharing more on YouTube and probably filming in there is kind of my plan. Some stuff. Tika says, question, I'm in the market for shades. Which one is better, Smart Wings or your new shades? Honestly, that's really hard to pick. They're so similar. And I can't really say one is better than the other. I mean, I really like the zebra style that I have from Bringnox. I'm pretty sure Smart Wings also offers the zebra style. And Smart Wings does also offer outdoor shades. I don't think Bringnox does. But so, I mean, it may just come down, I would probably say if you're looking at these two, just look at the pricing and the fabric and material, what material or style you want, and just base it off of that, I think, because honestly, they're so similar. I mean, it's really hard for me to pick one over the other. just in my experience. They both support Matter over Thread. They're both built pretty much the same as far as I can tell. I mean, it's like almost like the same products, honestly. Yeah, so very, very similar products there from those two. But just look for, you know, like I said, budget maybe. Again, priced pretty similar. The Bringnox shades were slightly cheaper than the Smart Wings ones that I just spec'd out. I mentioned that in the video. But yeah, you know, it might come down to available fabrics and stuff like that. Yeah, I heard good things about the Mitsubishi mini splits too. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get one. That was kind of one of the holdups with our garage project, is that was getting the mini split. There was some delays in that. It's been kind of a tough time, I guess, to get certain products and things, but we got it installed. So okay, let me get to some of these questions I saw. Hall and Tech says, oh, sorry, I thought that was a question. I must have flagged the wrong comment. Sorry about that, William and Hall and Tech. Question, would you buy HomePod minis? At the moment, I was holding off for WWDC announcements, but that was a tumbleweed. You know, here's the thing about, this is just my 2 cents, about holding off for new Apple products, especially like these rumored products. Obviously, you know, there's going to be a new iPhone and things like that every year, but like these rumored products, I say if you have a real need for it and you want it, go for it. You could be waiting forever for these new products. And I was kind of on a rant the other day in our Discord server. Some of y'all might have seen that, about like all the rumors. There's just rumor after rumor with Apple stuff. And as soon as there's just a slight change to the rumor, there's new articles written about it, new videos created, and it's just never ending. And there's just constantly new articles written about the slightest little things and these rumors. I mean, for example, like the HomePod with the screen, or the HomePad or whatever, that's a rumored device that we have been hearing about for years, literally years. So yes, there are talks of maybe a new HomePod mini. Could it come in September? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I say if you need a small speaker that works, you know, with your voice assistant or whatever your needs are for getting a new HomePod mini, I would probably just do it. But that's my 2 cents, you know, again, because you could be, you know, you just end up waiting forever, and I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I don't know if you guys agree, but you know, it's just because it's not really a sure thing when it comes to the rumors and stuff, the HomePod minis. But I mean, I have tons of HomePod mini. And the good thing about HomePod mini too, specifically, it's not super expensive. I mean, yeah, $100 is not nothing. But, you know, if you get one of those and then they do release something new, say in September or maybe sometime later this year or next year, who knows when it'll be, you know, whenever you're ready, maybe you could get that, and you could repurpose the HomePod mini. Like, HomePod minis are great to just add to different rooms to have voice control and for, you know, music and things like that. I've done that quite a bit in my house and kind of repurpose some, you know, when I got a bigger HomePod or something like that. And I've moved HomePods around, and you know, it's something to consider, I think. So, you know, I kind of hesitate when it comes to like waiting for devices and features and stuff like that, but I like to focus on what's available now. Yeah, Don, that's true. They do go on sale. I feel like they go on sale at Costco more than anywhere. Maybe Best Buy sometimes. Okay, let's see what other questions we got flagged here. Rhett from Jack Steiner. What's up? Rhett says, I am hooking up a Reolink Home Hub Pro and want to know if it continually streams through the HDMI on Wi-Fi cameras. Honestly, I have no idea. That's a very specific question, and I have not used the Reolink Home Hub Pro. I have used a lot of the Reolink cameras, but I've only used their PoE cameras, and I have not used one of their home hubs. I've used their NVRs. And the question was, will you get 24/7 recording with their rest easy knowing at home with under watchful eyes? I would think yes is probably the answer. It should, as long as it's like plugged in, because these are not battery devices. So I would think the answer is yes. I have not really used, and I don't know if maybe George or anybody else here in the chat would know the answer to that, but I've not really used many of their, or really any of their Wi-Fi devices or their Wi-Fi cameras. But I think when you connect it to the hub or even to like one of their NVRs or something like that, that you get pretty much the same functionality as you get with the PoE cameras. And because as long as it's wired, a limitation with 24/7 recording a lot of the times is with the battery powered cameras. Obviously, that's an issue if they're constantly recording. But yeah, I'd have to do some more digging to find the actual answer on that one. And more camera talk. The thoughts on the new Eufy's new PoE gear. Let's take a look at that. See if we can find some of that. I did hear they were. Is this what you're talking about? The looks like it's on pre-order now. So, I mean, this is without me really knowing much or looking into it at all. It looks very similar to like your standard PoE NVR system. It's just from Eufy. I don't think this is going to support HomeKit or HomeKit Secure Video. Again, probably pretty standard to like your typical PoE camera NVR systems like you see from Reolink and others. That's what I think about it. Man, Eric, Modern Day Tech is in the house. Eric, thank you so much. Eric just gifted 20 memberships. Trying to find that comment. Man, thank you so much. Another friend, Eric, Modern Day Tech, another YouTube channel. So check out Eric's channel if you haven't already. Lots of reviews and good stuff over there. Man, 20 memberships. Thank you so much for doing that, Eric. Hope you're having a good day, having a good week so far. As a channel member, you will get access to that Discord server that I was talking about. So we have a members only Discord server where, again, I'm in there every day. We also do a monthly video chat there on Discord on the first Wednesday of every month. So that's a lot of fun. Also, new early access to new videos most of the time. So usually I'll post videos early for members. And you can DM me and stuff like that directly in Discord. So some perks there if you are a new channel member. and welcome to all the new channel members. Hope to see you guys over in Discord. Come check us out. Check out the server. I think you'll like it. We got some really smart folks in there, and everybody's kind of on their own smart home journey in different places. A lot of Home Assistant folks are kind of in there too lately, and just all over the place. So it's a lot of fun. Just dropping in to quickly and saying hi. Man, thank you, Eric. That's a way to make an entrance. That's awesome, dude. Thank you so much for stopping in. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day if you're taking off. Had a lot of fun hanging out with Eric and George recently in Charleston, South Carolina. So that was a lot of fun. What kind of grill? I got my first Komodo grill this year and love it. So I have the Weber Smart Grill. I forget the model number, but it's the Genesis. It's the larger Genesis. I've had it for a little while now since we redid our back deck area, our back porch, and I really like it. I really like it. I'm not one of these that gets like multiple grills. I've got friends that do all that. That's not really my thing. But I do really like the Smart Grill, some of the features on it. I did recently get the little griddle insert so you can change out like the grate and put a griddle insert on there and stuff like that, which is nice. But yeah, the Weber Genesis is the one that I am still using. Here we go. This might be the question I saw earlier about the G5. So Danny says, what are your thoughts on the G5, Aqara's G5 camera compared to the Eufy S3 Pro? So let's pull up the Eufy S3 Pro real quick. So here is the Eufy Cam S3 Pro. And we got another channel member, David Roth, joined. Welcome, David. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Whoa. Sorry about that. I guess I should have locked that into place. I don't know what just happened there. Got small for a second. Let me lock that. Where's my lock button? Oh well, I'll probably mess it up again. When you turn 40, you either get really into history or smoking meats. Let me look at... Oh, that got small too. Sorry about the technical difficulties trying to figure out what happened to my comments there. Chris says, when you turn 40, you either get really into history or smoking meat. Yeah, I can see that. I did just turn 40, so, maybe I'll have 3 grills in the backyard next year. All right, let me save some of these questions. And Jeff here, to answer the question we were just talking about from Danny, Jeff says I'd go with the Aqara G5 Pro. I have many Eufy cameras and they just don't seem to last as long as other brands, especially the solar ones. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing your experience. I have not used, so the question was the Aqara G5 Pro versus the Eufy S3 Pro cameras, which you see here. The biggest difference, is going to be that these Eufy cameras are battery powered, solar powered, but they are wireless, whereas the Aqara G5 camera does require some sort of plug. And that could either be the PoE version or all the pop-ups. It can either be the PoE version or Wi-Fi, but either way, you got to plug it in either to an outlet or to a network switch. So that's going to be the biggest difference. I always say if you can plug it in, wired is just always going to be better and more reliable in my experience. Now, I have not used the Eufy Cam, what is it, the S3 Pros. I've not used those. So, take that for what it's worth. I have used the Akara G5, really good, solid camera. I really like it. And anytime you can have something wired, it's better. It's a little more of a pain and inconvenient to install, probably at a lot of places. So, it just kind of depends there. If you need battery powered or if you need wireless, then certainly go with the Eufy. That kind of answers the question there for you in terms of which one is right. Caroline, what's up, Caroline? I saw your comment this time. It says our back porch thermostat says 105. Whew. Man, it's been brutal here lately. Thanks, Jeff, for sharing your experience there. Oh, well, Geo says you can wire the Eufy S3 Pro. I have mine wired and work great for me, though PoE is best. Okay, so I guess you can wire it for constant power if you want to. Ronak says, did you ever experience any issues, connection or automation issues with the SwitchBot blind tilt? Hesitate to buy 8 of them if they aren't reliable. They worked great for me, so I can't remember if I created my automations in the SwitchBot app or HomeKit, because really my automations were, it might have been one of the ones that I just did in the SwitchBot app. Really, my automations just opened and closed them at certain times of the day. And I've been doing that for at least a couple of years, I think now. And yeah, they worked well for me. You do have to have a SwitchBot hub. So, the Hub 2 or the new Hub 3, you can use to connect those, and you can get those into HomeKit through Matter. So obviously there's just a lot of factors there when you're talking about Matter and all that stuff. But they were reliable. Yeah, my automations worked well for me. I don't have any complaints. Like I said, I really liked using them. We just kind of got tired of the Venetian style blinds. We still do use some of them though in certain parts of the house. So Ahmed says 5 months of membership. Thank you for being a channel member for 5 months. Hi, all the way from Saudi Arabia. Wow, that's awesome. We got people from all over the world in here today, man. Great to see everybody. Oh, nice. Good information there. Thank you, Gio. Says when it's wired, it does record 24/7. Do you plan to review this Eufy Smart Display E10? I don't have any plans right now. That is, these hubs, like there's a few of these. This is the hub in question, $200. I'm sure it's great if you have a bunch of Eufy cameras, but my suspicion is that this, is probably kind of closed off. I don't think you can get this into HomeKit or anything like that. There's another similar product I was looking at earlier that I think is out now. I thought I had the tab pulled up. TP-Link just came out with the home a Hub 2, very similar device. Well, if I can find it. Yeah, the home base. You plug in your own monitor, I think over HDMI, and it'll work great with all the new TP-Link cameras. But so I don't know. I'm just really, I said earlier about waiting, but to me, I want something that can work with HomeKit or with my Apple Home setup if I want a device like this. So I am waiting for Apple to release something like this whenever that comes, you know. So yeah, I don't have any plans to review the display at this point. Again, I don't really have any Eufy cameras at this point. I did use some years ago. The Eufy Cam 2 Pro I used a few of. Yeah, just use an iPad. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, pretty much. Trent, sorry I missed your comment there. Let's see if I can find it. Might have. I've got 2 chat boxes right here, so there we go. 35 months of membership. Thank you, Trent. Says new content from Shane, the Shane and Wife cooking show. I don't know if that would be very entertaining. It might be entertaining. Probably not very educational. Probably watching Caroline. Caroline can cook. Me, unless it's something on the grill, I can do some stuff in the cast iron, but I've never really been I just don't really enjoy cooking. I can cook some things, but, I'd rather be on the grill or just not doing it. Caroline can cook, though. I'll give her that for sure. So, yeah, it would probably be me a lot talking smack in the kitchen and her doing all the work. If Bloomberg is right, it'll be March. Yeah, but how many times has Bloomberg said when this thing is coming? That's why, don't get me going. Don't get me going again. I know I was ranting. Yeah, that's what we said. It'll be the Caroline cooking show. And Shane, commentary by Shane, right? All right, so let me get to back some of these questions. Tyler Pat earlier asked, the car doorbell went unresponsive for a week or 2 ago, hasn't come back online. Any chance of resetting it, or is it probably dead? I have not experienced that, so I can't really say. I mean, if it's just not working, I would definitely try to do a reset, a factory reset or something, plug it in or anything you can do. But yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't heard of those just dying, but not really sure there. You guys are tripping the comments sometimes. Do you still use your Eve outdoor camera? I do not. So I took down my Eve outdoor camera when we redid our back porch. We didn't have a back porch. We had a back deck, and then we built a screen porch. And I took it down because it just didn't make any sense for that location anymore. So I am not using the Eve outdoor cam at this moment. And 2, I will say, for those of you who are interested or have questions about like what I'm using, because I've reviewed and talked about a lot of products on the channel. Unfortunately, I can't use them all forever because like my house just isn't big enough. So I did make a video just probably a couple weeks ago, not very, like less than a month ago, about all the products that I'm currently using in my house. And basically stuff that you don't see in there is stuff that I'm not currently using, but I go through like all the product categories, the stuff that I really like, you'll see in there. And that's all the stuff that I'm currently using at this moment. And just because something's not in that video doesn't mean it's bad necessarily. It just means that I probably don't have space for it or some other reason like that. But yeah, I go through everything that I'm currently using to kind of answer that question, because I wish I could keep using every single thing that I get to talk about, but sometimes I got to clean up the smart home. It gets a little cluttered, On the Circle View doorbell camera, it's crazy. We were just in Eric, George, and I were recently we stopped by the Apple store in Charleston, and they had the Circle View doorbell camera on sale there in the Apple store. And I think one of us commented, might have been me, that said it's kind of crazy that they still sell this in the Apple store. I don't still use, that's one of those products that I don't still use right now. Um, I've used a few different doorbells. It was probably my favorite one out of those that natively support Apple HomeKit. Unfortunately, we don't really have a lot of doorbell cameras that support Apple HomeKit. I take that back. The Aqara camera, the Aqara doorbell camera, I think is really good. I really like that one. The only thing I didn't like about that was that it had a horizontal video feed and not a vertical video feed. And I really need a vertical video feed for my doorbell camera. That's the only reason I didn't use the Aqara one at my house. I actually installed the Aqara doorbell camera at at like some of my family members' houses, because that vertical feed or that horizontal feed just worked a little bit better there. So with that said, outside of that, the Circle View is probably my favorite, but again, there's only like a couple doorbell cameras that natively support Apple HomeKit. So I ended up I used a Reolink one for a little while, and then now I'm using the unified doorbell camera, and I have that integrated through Scripted. So honestly, something like that's probably the best bet, but I understand not everybody wants to like set up Scripted on a server and like figure out all that stuff. So if you don't have Homebridge or Scripted or something like that, then the Circle View, I don't know, it might still be your best option, or the Aqara camera. Actually, Aqara's got a new one coming out, I think pretty soon, an updated version. So might be something to check out there. I don't know if I answered that question at all. Hopefully that helped some. Yeah, Unify's camera is the cool thing about the unified doorbell camera. See if I can pull it up. It is a horizontal feed also, but it also has a second camera at the bottom. So that was kind of like one of the issues with mine. Is that I could, with the horizontal camera feed, like the Aqara one, I could never see when packages were left at the door. But with the Unify one, there's actually a second camera. So there's like a package camera at the bottom. So that's been working for me. All right. Which smart lock would you recommend? I have a Home Assistant plus HomeKit Smart Home. Use a U300 on the garage, and it's fantastic. Yeah, the U300, the Aqara U300 is a good smart lock. I do like that one. I have one of those here. Now, smart locks is something there is no shortage of, fortunately. Okay, so where to begin? I think first narrowing down what type of lock you want. Like, do you want a retrofit lock, which means you just replace the inside portion of your lock, the thumb turn part, or do you want a full lock replacement? That would narrow it down a little bit. So, figure out which one of those you want. I kind of like the retrofit option because you don't have to like rekey the lock. You use the same exterior. If maybe you have a fancy lock or something on the outside, you could keep using that. And yeah, I just like not having to rekey the keys or the locks. So for the retrofit options, there's just really a bunch of good options out there now. The Aqara U200, I think, is a good lock. The SwitchBot, the new SwitchBot Lock Ultra, which I just did a video on, is really good. I really like that one. I'm using that now for my garage, actually. And it's got like the facial recognition keypad, which is super cool. So And then the Nuki lock. So Nuki, I don't know if I have, yeah, I don't have that tab pulled up, but I'm gonna make a video pretty soon on the Nuki smart lock. I thought maybe I'd have the box over here. I do not. But Nuki, which is really known in the European market, is now coming to the US, and they've got a new lock. It's a retrofit lock also. It's really good. So those are 3 retrofit options: Nuki, Akari U200, and SwitchBot Lock Ultra that I would look at. Again, look at features, the keypad. Do you care about facial recognition? Different things like that. The U200 is Matter over Thread, I believe. And then like SwitchBot does not support Thread. The Nuki lock is Matter over Thread also, so maybe that plays a role. And then for full lock replacement, I've been really enjoying the Whatley Visage, which also has facial recognition. Yeah, this one right here. I've been using this one as my primary lock here for a while, and happy with this. This supports HomeKit. This does not support Matter, so you mentioned Home Assistant plus HomeKit. That's what I like, products that support Matter, especially if you're running like multiple ecosystems or whatever. You can definitely get it into those multiple places. But this one, I don't know about adding this to Home Assistant. Somebody here may have done that in the chat. I don't think I connected mine to Home Assistant. But this has been a great lock for HomeKit. It works really well. The wife is happy, so I'm leaving it for a while. Facial recognition works pretty well. It's honestly not as fast as just using your fingerprint, I think. A lot of times I just lately have been resorting to the fingerprint, but having the facial recognition is pretty cool. Like if you have your hands full or something like that, it definitely does come in handy sometimes. Another thing I really like about this, and one of the things I like about the SwitchBot retrofit one that I mentioned, is the backup battery. So this doesn't have an onboard backup battery, but they give you 2 batteries. They are rechargeable. It's another thing to kind of consider with smart locks. So this lock comes with 2 rechargeable batteries, so you can pull one out and then swap it out while you charge the other one, which is nice. The SwitchBot Lock Ultra that I mentioned has actually an onboard backup battery, which I think is awesome. One of the things I really like about that. I do have a playlist I should mention on the channel called Smart Locks, and it should have all of the lock videos that I've done. So I'll just kind of compare features. It's kind of hard to answer these questions because certain features are more important than others to some people. Like the U200 has home key support, which is awesome, but doesn't have like a backup battery, things like that. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. Trent says the fingerprint is great on the U300. Yep. Jeff says, have you tried using a large 3D photo of your face to see if it will unlock your door lock? Hopefully it's advanced enough not to. I have not tried that, but it should not. I kind of want to try that, but it uses, at least I know the SwitchBot Lock Ultra. I've mentioned it enough times. I should probably pull it up. So I know and I assume the Whatley Visage is the same, but the SwitchBot Lock Ultra uses 3D facial scanning. So a 2D picture or something like that should not fool it. I have not tested that, but that's kind of how it works. And here's that triple backup system that I was talking about, which is really cool. So it actually has this 5 emergency unlocks that it can use, but you get 12 months with the regular battery, and then you've got this other smaller battery. I forget what battery type that is. It's the weird little cylinder one. As a backup. Where is the keypad? So the Vision keypad right here, that's what we're looking for. but this uses, trying to see if it says specifically how it works on the website. 98% recognition accuracy. Yep, a lot of information there, but I do remember seeing that it uses a 3D facial scan. So, yeah, that shouldn't be an issue. I should test it though. That'd be fun to see. Yeah, that's what I found right there, Jeff, too. I used to say that like I would never buy another lock without home key support, but that just doesn't apply anymore. I just don't. I love the feature, but when you have fingerprints and now facial recognition, it's just easier and faster to just use that than home key. HomeKey does work really well for me, but I used it all the time, and this is when I loved it, when I had the Schlage Encode Plus, another great lock, but there was no fingerprint scanner on there. There was just the keypad. So I use HomeKey all the time with my Apple Watch, and I loved it. So if there's no fingerprint scanner, definitely HomeKey, but otherwise I'm just going to use the fingerprint. Where's the shelf from in the back? I don't know. Caroline, you still in the chat? Where did we get that from? Caroline helped me decorate this place in here. I want to say like World Market? I don't know. I'm not too big on it's one of those stores. It's a World Market? I don't know. Maybe she'll chime in and let us know. Steven, shorts are condensed, mentioned this earlier. Shorts are condensed versions of your full videos, which I watch. How do I get notified only for the full videos? Thank you for the great uploads. Good question, Steven. I don't think there is a way to do that on your end. So I do cut certain clips from my longer videos sometimes and post as shorts because I've seen, sometimes people prefer watching shorts. Some people prefer watching longer videos. Anyways, I've been meaning to see if there is a way for me to turn off to notify you all when there's a short video, because I know I post a lot more short videos than long videos, and I hate to blast you guys with notifications if you are kind enough to turn on notifications for when I post a new video. So I'm going to make a note. Actually, I'm going to make a note right now to look into that and see if there's a way for me to turn that off so that you will only get notified when I post a long form video and not for all those shorts. So thank you for asking that. Austin asks, is the Eufy G4 Doorbell Pro in HomeKit using HomeBridge the best HomeKit doorbell? Well, it's the one I'm using, and I've used a few. Again, there's not many options for HomeKit doorbells natively, so you will have to use something like HomeBridge. I'm personally using Scripted. I tried HomeBridge and Scripted, not with Eufy, but with some other cameras a couple years ago. I just liked Scripted a little bit better. It just worked. It was just really reliable for me. Excuse me. So I've stuck with Scripted. HomeBridge is probably good. I don't know if anybody here is using Eufy with HomeBridge. Let us know in the chat how your experience has been, if so. But yeah, I know for me, Eufy stuff with Scripted, Eufy cameras with Scripted to get those into HomeKit has been great. I do think the best option unfortunately, for a doorbell camera in HomeKit is probably a doorbell camera that doesn't support HomeKit natively, which isn't really a good answer, I guess. But in my experience, that's what I found, except for the Aqara camera. Like I said, the Aqara is it the G4? I think they call the Aqara doorbell camera. I do like the Aqara cameras. I think that's probably a good option. Tons of features if you have a good setup for that, for that camera feed there. But yeah, outside of that, I'm using the G4. It's what I landed on. I did also use the Reolink one. I have not used a PoE doorbell camera. I bet that's awesome. Reolink also makes really good cameras. Lone Star Trent says I'm using the Reolink PoE doorbell. I used their Wi-Fi version for a little while, and the battery died fast on me on that. So, yeah, I bet the PoE version is pretty awesome. I would love to have my doorbell camera over PoE, but haven't taken the plunge to set that up just yet. Oh, nice. Greg says, I have all my Unify cameras in Apple Home using Homebridge, and it works great. Very nice. Awesome. Thank you, Greg, for sharing. So yeah, that's probably a great way to go if you have Homebridge already set up or you're planning to do so. Oh, Caroline, thanks for answering questions there. I might have missed that question. Says, I'm pretty sure Shane did a video on the Thorbolt lock. If so, that one is still on our bedroom door. And I have made him probably haven't made him take it off yet, because yeah, it's still up there. Sorry, I must have missed that question. I know I did not get to all the questions there. So appreciate that, Caroline. Oh, Jordy says, I like the shorts and notifications from it, so don't do it. Okay. Well, I don't know, man. It's always trying to figure out the best course of action is always a challenge. Yeah, so maybe you'll leave them on. I don't know. I'll have to take a poll or something and see how many people like notifications for everything or would like them just for long form videos. I don't know. We'll see. We'll look into that a little bit. But I appreciate the feedback. I do. That's very helpful. I see people talking about support for Google. Also, we talked about locks. I meant to mention this earlier, but Yale released a new smart lock that supports Matter. It looks like it's designed to work really well with Google Home. It kind of matches their doorbell camera. So I guess if you're a Google Home user, then this might be a good little pair right there. But that's Yale's new smart lock. It does support Matter, so should work in Apple Home. I don't think you're not going to get home key support or anything like that, but I don't know. I do like tactile buttons. Looks like it has tactile buttons versus the touch screen. I'm just kind of a fan of tactile buttons on the smart locks, for the times where you do maybe want to use a PIN code or something like that, but I don't know. That's just me. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all so much for hanging out and all the questions. If you asked a question and I didn't get to it, I apologize. I tried to get to as many as I could. If you are a channel member, we had a lot of channel memberships given away in this stream. So if you got one of those, or if you're a channel member, head over to Discord. You can tag me in a comment or in any of the channels there, or you can DM me over there and ask questions, or ask the larger group over there on Discord, and you'll probably get a bunch of really good answers, often better than what I could provide myself. So check out the Discord if you're a channel member. We do have some new videos coming up. Like I said, we've got we posted one yesterday. I've got one coming up this weekend. Should come earlier, I think, to channel members, but excited about this video. It was a difficult video to make, but a lot of fun at the same time. And yeah, we got a few more coming up. Also, Prime Day is right around the corner, so we didn't mention that. I'm planning on putting together a list of all the smart home, Apple Home, Matter products that are going to be on sale for Prime Day. So if you've been in the market or holding off for some good deals, stay on the lookout for that. That's going to be coming very soon, and I'll share that with you guys, all the information I know for Prime Day coming up. Dawn, oh man, rounding out the stream. Dawn, thank you so much for gifting 5 more memberships, man. I appreciate that so much, Dawn. Longtime channel member. Thank you so much. And on that note, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. God bless.